The volcanic rocks held warmth even after sunset, and that was the only comfort Ember knew anymore. The small creature pressed closer against the cooling stone, scales scraping softly in the darkness. 3 moons hung in the ash-colored sky above the planet Ashmar, their pale light making shadows dance across the empty wasteland. Ember was alone. The Dragonling's stomach cramped with hunger again. It had been 2 days since the last meal, a scraggly root thing that tasted like metal and made everything hurt worse. But food was not the biggest problem. The Drazen species needed something else to survive, something Ember did not have anymore. Connection, bond, family. Without it, young Drazen faded away like smoke. Ember could feel it happening, a coldness spreading from the inside that had nothing to do with temperature. The small body was shutting down bit by bit, preparing for an end that seemed inevitable now. Memories flickered through Ember's tired mind. There had been others once. A clutch of 6 siblings all hatched together under the red sun. Their parent guardians had been strong and wise, teaching them to hunt, to fly, to survive. The nest had been warm, full of soft chirping sounds and the constant hum of love that kept young Drazen alive and growing. Then the war came. Ember did not understand war. The concept made no sense to a mind that valued connection above all else. But 2 alien factions had wanted Ashmar for themselves, wanted its minerals and its position in space. They fought across the volcanic plains with weapons that screamed and burned. The Drazen nest had been caught between them, just another obstacle to be removed. Everything had ended in fire and noise. Ember had hidden in a crack between rocks, too scared to move, while the world exploded around them. When silence finally returned, there was nothing left. No siblings, no parents, just ash and emptiness that had been 90 days ago, 3 full lunar cycles of hiding, scrounging, surviving alone in ways that went against every instinct. Drazen were not meant to be solitary. Their bodies required the emotional resonance of family like humans needed air. Without it, they simply stopped existing. Ember knew this, felt it in every struggling heartbeat. Other aliens passed through the volcanic region sometimes. Ember watched them from hiding spots, hoping one might stop and notice, hoping someone might care. But the traders and soldiers and explorers all had their own concerns. A small orphaned creature meant nothing to them. Some species were actively hostile, seeing Drazen as pests or prizes to be captured. Ember had learned to stay hidden, to stay quiet, to stay alive just one more day. But the days were running out now. The Dragonling's eyes grew heavy as the night deepened. Sleep offered brief escape from the loneliness. In dreams, there was still warmth and family. In dreams, everything was whole again. Ember's breathing slowed, small chest rising and falling with effort. The volcanic rock beneath no longer felt warm enough. Nothing felt warm enough anymore. Then something changed, a vibration in the ground, subtle but distinct. Ember's eyes cracked open, instincts flaring despite exhaustion. Something large had landed nearby, another ship, another group of aliens passing through. The Dragonling should hide, should stay invisible like always. But hiding had not saved anyone before. And Ember was so tired of being alone. The vibration pattern felt different this time, not the harsh mechanical thunder of military vessels. Something smoother, quieter. Curious despite everything, Ember dragged the small body upright and crept toward the ridge overlooking the landing zone. Below, a ship rested on the volcanic plain. It was smaller than the warships, rounded and worn from travel. A single figure emerged from the hatch, covered in a protective suit that gleamed dully in the moonlight. The figure moved carefully across the rough ground, stopping periodically to examine rocks and take samples. Ember watched with fading interest. Just another researcher or scout. They would leave soon like all the others. No point in hoping for anything different. The figure came closer, following some path only they could see. Ember should retreat now, should disappear back into the shadows, but the Dragonling's body would not cooperate anymore. Too weak, too empty, too done with fighting. Let it end here then. At least under the stars instead of alone in the dark. Ember's legs gave out. The small body tumbled down the rocky slope, scales scraping and wings tangling uselessly. Everything spun and hurt and then suddenly stopped as the Dragonling landed in a heap near a thermal spring. The ground vibrated again. Footsteps approaching. Ember tried to move, tried to run, but nothing worked properly anymore. This was it. Whatever happened next would be the end of the story. Through blurring vision, Ember saw the figure kneel down nearby. The helmet of the suit retracted, revealing a face unlike any the Dragonling had seen before. Smooth skin, strange features, hair that caught the moonlight. The being's eyes were wide with concern, not threat. Those eyes looked kind. The being reached out slowly, carefully, making soft sounds that might have been words. Warm hands touched Ember's scales, gentle and sure. Something was pressed against the Dragonling's mouth. Liquid that tasted clean and good. More sounds, more gentle touches. More of that strange kindness that Ember had forgotten existed. For the first time in 90 days, something inside the Dragonling's chest unclenched slightly. The cold that had been spreading paused just for a moment. This strange creature, was trying to help. Actually trying to help. Ember made a sound, barely more than a whisper. A questioning chirp that asked the only thing that mattered anymore. Please do not leave me alone. The being's face softened further, and somehow Ember understood the answer, even without words. Those kind eyes promised something the Dragonling desperately needed to believe. I am here now. Dr. Anna Wright had been collecting rock samples when her scanner detected something unexpected. The readings showed biological signatures that should not exist on this particular stretch of Ashmar. Every documented species on the planet stayed far from the volcanic zones. Too hot, too toxic, too dangerous, yet something living was out here. She followed the signal across the rough terrain, her suit protecting her from the sulfurous air and extreme temperatures. The work kept her mind occupied, which was good. Anna had learned over the years that an occupied mind was a manageable mind. Idle thoughts led to memories, and memories led to places she could not afford to go. Not anymore. The biological reading grew stronger as she approached a cluster of thermal springs. Anna's breath caught when she saw what lay crumpled beside the steaming water. A creature, small and covered in dark scales that reflected the moonlight, wings folded awkwardly against its sides. Eyes closed, body still. For a terrible moment, Anna thought she was too late. Then she saw the faint rise and fall of the creature's chest. Her training should have told her to be cautious. Unknown species could be dangerous, could carry diseases, could react unpredictably to contact. But something deeper than training kicked in, something that recognized suffering when it saw it. Anna dropped to her knees beside the creature, retracting her helmet despite protocol. She needed to see clearly, to assess the situation properly. The creature was young. That much was obvious from its size and the soft texture of its scales. And it was dying. She pulled emergency supplies from her pack. Water first, clean and filtered. She supported the creature's head gently, dribbling liquid between its lips. Most of it ran out, but some went down. The creature stirred slightly, a good sign. Next came the medical scanner. Anna passed it over the small body, watching readouts flicker across the screen. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, something else too. Something the scanner labeled as critical but could not properly identify. A biological imbalance of some kind affecting multiple systems. Anna worked quickly, administering what help she could with her limited veterinary supplies. She had treated injured animals before during her research trips. This was not so different. Just focus on the immediate problems. Keep the creature stable. Figure out the rest later. The creature's eyes opened slowly, revealing depths of awareness that startled Anna. Not just an animal then. Something more. The eyes held intelligence, fear, and something that looked heartbreakingly like hope. Anna spoke softly, not expecting the creature to understand words, but hoping tone would communicate what language could not. It's okay. You're safe now. I've got you. She gathered the small body into her arms, careful of the wings and tail. The creature was lighter than expected, too light for its size. Another sign of how close to the edge it had come. It made a sound, soft and questioning, that hit Anna somewhere deep in her chest, that sound. That tiny, vulnerable sound, she knew that sound. Had heard it before in another voice, another time, another world. The sound of a child asking to be held, to be comforted, to not be alone. Anna's arms tightened reflexively around the creature. I've got you, she repeated, voice rough. I promise. The walk back to her ship was careful and slow. Anna kept up a steady stream of words, talking about nothing and everything. The weather on Ashmar, the stars overhead, the funny noise her ship's engine made sometimes. Anything to fill the silence, to let the creature know it was not alone anymore. Inside the ship, she set up a makeshift bed in the cargo hold. Thermal blankets, padding from supply crates, a heating element set to low. She placed the creature down gently, and it immediately curled into a tight ball, shivering despite the warmth. Anna sat beside it, one hand resting lightly on its scales. She could feel the heartbeat fast and thready, fighting to survive. She pulled up her ship's database on her tablet, searching through entries on Ashmar's native species. Nothing matched. She expanded the search parameters, going broader through the galactic catalog. Page after page of alien life forms scrolled past until finally there, a species called Drazen, dragon-like beings from the outer rim. The physical characteristics matched perfectly. Anna read faster, absorbing information. Intelligent species, empathic abilities, social creatures who lived in family groups. Critical detail: juvenile Drazen required emotional bonding to survive. Without connection to family, young Drazen experienced systemic failure and death within approximately 100 days of separation. Her eyes found another line. Drazen were nearly extinct in this sector. Hunted, displaced, caught in various conflicts they had no part in starting. Anna looked at the creature sleeping fitfully beside her. An orphan, then, alone and dying not just from lack of food or water, but from lack of love. The idea was almost too cruel to comprehend. She thought about her own loss years ago now, but never truly distant. The colony accident. The explosion. Her daughter's hand slipping from hers in the chaos. The empty years that followed, filled with work and distance and the careful management of grief that never quite healed. Anna had promised herself she would never open her heart like that again. It hurt too much when things went wrong. Safer to stay detached, professional, alone. But looking at this small dying creature, she knew that promise had already been broken. Had been broken the moment she saw those intelligent eyes open and look at her with desperate hope. She could not save everyone. She knew that. The universe was full of suffering and loss and terrible things beyond anyone's control. But maybe, just maybe, she could save this one. Anna settled more comfortably on the floor, keeping her hand on the creature's scales. Its breathing seemed a little easier now. The shivering had decreased. Small improvements, but improvements nonetheless. "My name is Anna," she said quietly. "I don't know if you can understand me, but I want you to know something. You're not alone anymore. I don't know exactly what you need, but I'm going to figure it out. And I'm not leaving you." The creature stirred, made a sound different from before, softer, almost content. It shifted position, pressing closer against Anna's side, seeking warmth and contact. Anna felt something break open inside her chest, something she had kept locked away for years. It hurt, but it was a good hurt. The kind that meant frozen parts of yourself were thawing out, coming back to life. She began to hum, an old melody from Earth. A lullaby her own mother had sung, that she had sung to her daughter. The tune drifted through the quiet ship, simple and soothing. The creature's breathing synchronized with the rhythm, deepening into something that might actually be restful sleep. Anna kept humming, kept watch, kept her promise. Neither of them was alone anymore. 5 days had passed since Anna found the Dragonling, and her research camp had transformed into something between a laboratory and a home. Equipment and supplies cluttered every surface. But in the center of it all was Ember. That was what Anna had started calling the creature, after the warm glow of its scales and certain light. Ember was stronger now, able to walk and move around the camp with growing confidence. The physical recovery had been remarkable once Anna figured out the proper nutrition requirements. A combination of mineral supplements, protein compounds, and the natural sulfur from Ashmar's thermal vents seemed to do the trick. But the other requirement, the emotional bonding, that was more complicated. Anna sat at her workstation, reviewing data on her screens while Ember dozed nearby on a cushioned mat. The information she had gathered about Drazen biology was fascinating and troubling in equal measure. Young Drazen literally needed emotional connection to survive. Their nervous systems were wired for empathic feedback, constantly sensing and responding to the feelings of family members around them. Without that feedback, their bodies began shutting down. It was not psychological. It was purely biological. Like humans needed oxygen, Drazen needed love. The database entry Anna had found earlier contained a grim timeline. Unbonded juvenile Drazen died within 5 cycles of separation from family. Ember had been alone for nearly 4 cycles when Anna found them. The Dragonling had been days, maybe hours, away from complete system failure. But something unexpected was happening now. Against all scientific probability, Ember was recovering, not just physically, but in all the ways that mattered for Drazen's survival. The biological markers were improving. The empathic centers were stabilizing. Ember was bonding with Anna. It should not be possible. The database was very clear that Drazen bonding required specific emotional frequencies and pheromone exchanges unique to their species. Humans did not produce the right signals. The biology was completely incompatible. Yet here was Ember, thriving in ways that contradicted every piece of data Anna could find. She watched the Dragonling sleep, chest rising and falling peacefully. Ember had started following Anna everywhere, making soft chirping sounds whenever they were separated even briefly. At night, Ember refused to sleep unless Anna was nearby, often curling up right against her side. The behavior reminded Anna painfully of her daughter at that age, always wanting to be close, seeking comfort and security and physical presence. The similarity made Anna's chest ache with old grief and new affection tangled together. Ember's eyes opened, immediately seeking Anna across the room. Finding her, the Dragonling relaxed again and made a happy humming sound. Anna smiled despite herself. "Hey there, little one. Sleep well?" Ember stood and stretched, wings extending fully for the first time since Anna had found them. They were beautiful, translucent membranes stretched between delicate bones, catching the light in rainbow patterns. The wingspan was impressive, nearly twice Ember's body length. Anna pulled up her translation matrix, something she had been working on for days. Drazen had a complex language of sounds, body positions, and empathic pulses. The matrix could only handle the audible parts, but it was a start. She played a series of recordings she had made of Ember's various vocalizations, watching the program attempt to derive meaning. Slowly, patterns emerged. Certain sounds correlated with specific wants or feelings. A low rumble meant contentment. Sharp chirps indicated alarm. A particular trill seemed to be Ember's way of calling for Anna specifically. But there was one sound Ember had not made yet. According to the database, young Drazen made a specific purring noise only in the presence of accepted family members. It was an involuntary response, triggered by the secure feeling of belonging. Orphaned or rejected Drazen never made that sound. Anna wondered if Ember would ever feel safe enough to purr. She set the translation work aside and pulled out a container of the mineral mix Ember liked best. "Dinner time, kiddo." Ember bounded over with enthusiasm that made Anna laugh. The Dragonling was always hungry these days, making up for lost time. Anna hand-fed the supplements, watching Ember crunch through them happily. Those eyes, so intelligent and expressive, never left Anna's face. After eating, Ember did something new. The Dragonling reached out with one clawed foot and gently touched Anna's hand, then made a questioning sound. Anna understood somehow, the way parents understand their children without needing words. Ember wanted to know about Anna, wanted to understand this strange being who had become their whole world. So Anna told stories. About Earth, a planet covered in water and green growing things. About humans and their strange customs. About the work Anna did, traveling between worlds to study and catalog life. She talked about her past too, carefully at first, then with more honesty than she had managed in years. She told Ember about loss, about her daughter, about the accident that had taken everything and left Anna hollow and drifting, about the years spent running from pain by throwing herself into work that kept her far from attachments. Ember listened with complete attention, making soft sounds that felt like comfort. When Anna's voice broke, Ember pressed closer, offering physical warmth and presence. The Dragonling seemed to understand grief, having experienced its own. They sat together as the sun set outside, 2 orphaned souls finding unexpected solace in each other. Later, as Anna prepared for sleep, she checked Ember's biological readings one more time. Everything was improving steadily. The bonding requirement was being met somehow, against all logic and scientific understanding. Anna wondered what Drazen experts would make of this. Would they believe a human could bond with a juvenile Drazen? Would they try to take Ember away, insisting on care from their own species? The thought made Anna's protective instincts flare. She looked at Ember, already curled up on the mat beside her sleeping bag. waiting for Anna to lie down so they could be close. Whatever happened, Anna would not let anyone separate them. Not now, not after they had found each other in the darkness and started healing together. She settled onto her sleeping bag and Ember immediately snuggled against her side, scales warm and smooth. Anna wrapped one arm around the Dragonling, holding gently. "Good night, Ember," she whispered. "Sweet dreams," and then she heard it. Soft at first, then growing stronger. A rumbling purr that vibrated through Ember's whole body. The sound of a Drazen who felt completely safe and loved. The sound that orphaned Dragonlings were not supposed to make. But Ember was not orphaned anymore. And neither was Anna. She held Ember closer, tears sliding down her face in the darkness. They were happy tears this time. Tears of relief and joy and the terrifying vulnerability that comes with letting yourself love again. The database had been wrong about human Drazen bonding being impossible. It was not impossible at all. It had just never been tried by someone brave enough to open their heart completely, without reservation or fear. Someone who understood that love was not limited by biology or species or any of the boundaries the galaxy tried to impose. Anna closed her eyes, feeling Ember's purr against her chest like a second heartbeat. Tomorrow would bring its own challenges, but tonight they were together and safe and loved. That was enough. The message arrived on Anna's terminal 17 days after she found Ember, and it changed everything. Anna had been teaching Ember to glide, using the camp's open area for practice. The Dragonling was a fast learner, already managing short flights between the equipment containers. Each successful glide earned excited chirps and a demand for Anna's approval, which she gave freely with praise and laughter. Then her communication system chimed with an incoming priority message. Anna's stomach tightened. Priority messages were never good news. She opened it and read quickly, her expression growing more concerned with each line. The Galactic Survey Network had received her automatic research logs. Her discovery of a living Drazen on Ashmar had triggered multiple alert systems. Drazen were a protected species, their declining numbers a matter of official concern across several governing bodies. Now everyone knew Ember existed. And everyone wanted a say in what happened next. The message was from something called the Preservation Council. They were sending a diplomatic team to Ashmar immediately to assess the situation and take custody of the Drazen juvenile for transfer to a proper sanctuary facility. Anna read the message 3 times, anger building with each pass. Take custody, as if Ember was property, not a person. As if Anna had not spent weeks caring for the Dragonling, keeping Ember alive when no one else had even noticed they were dying. Ember sensed Anna's distress and hurried over, making worried, questioning sounds. Anna forced herself to smile and stroke the Dragonling's head gently. "It's okay, little one, just some complications." But it was not okay, and Ember knew it. The Dragonling pressed close, offering comfort the same way Anna had offered it weeks ago. The role reversal made Anna's heart clench. She had 3 days before the diplomatic team arrived. 3 days to figure out what to do. Anna spent those days gathering evidence. She documented everything about Ember's recovery, the biological improvements, the successful bonding that should have been impossible. She recorded videos of Ember's personality, intelligence, and growing abilities. She compiled research showing that separation from an established bond could be as damaging as the original loss. When the diplomatic ship landed on Ashmar, Anna was ready. The team consisted of 4 aliens from different species, all wearing official insignia. Their leader was a tall being named Council Member Reed, covered in crystalline formations that caught the light. Reed's expression was professionally neutral as they examined Anna's camp. "Dr. Wright, we appreciate your care for the Drazen juvenile. However, this matter now requires official intervention. We need to transport the creature to a facility equipped for proper Drazen care." Anna stood her ground. "Ember is not a creature, and proper care is exactly what I've been providing." Reed's crystalline features shifted, the equivalent of raised eyebrows. "Ember, you've named it?" "Them," Anna corrected firmly. "Ember uses them. And yes, I named them because they're my family." One of the other diplomats made a derisive sound. "Humans and their tendency to anthropomorphize. Dr. Wright, you cannot possibly understand the complex needs of a Drazen juvenile. They require specialized care from experts." Anna pulled up her documentation on a portable screen. "I have data showing Ember's complete recovery. Biological markers, psychological assessments, developmental progress. Every measurement shows a healthy, thriving individual. Reed examined the data carefully. Their expression shifted to surprise. This is remarkable. The bonding requirements appear to be met. But that's impossible with a human caregiver. Impossible, but happening, Anna said. And if you separate us now, you'll reverse all this progress. Drazen juveniles die when bonded individuals are taken away. You know this. The diplomatic team conferred quietly among themselves. Reed turned back to Anna, their tone more measured now. We acknowledge your attachment, Dr. Wright, but there are larger concerns. Drazen numbers are critically low. Every juvenile represents potential for species recovery. The remnant Drazen clans have rights to any discovered juveniles. They may not accept a human bond as legitimate. Before Anna could respond, Ember emerged from inside the camp. The Dragonling had grown significantly in recent weeks, now reaching Anna's waist in height. Ember took one look at the strangers and moved immediately to Anna's side, wings half spread in a protective posture. The team stepped back instinctively. Even young Drazen could be formidable when threatened. Anna placed a calming hand on Ember's scales. It's okay. They're just here to talk. Ember relaxed slightly but stayed close, watching the strangers with intelligent, wary eyes. The message was clear. Ember had chosen their family, and that family was Anna. Reed observed the interaction with obvious fascination. The bond appears genuine, but Dr. Wright, you must understand the political complexity. The remnant clans will want proof that you can provide appropriate care. There will be challenges, possibly legal action. Are you prepared for that? Anna met Reed's gaze steadily. I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to keep my family together. The answer must have satisfied something in Reed because they nodded slowly. Very well. We'll report your position. But Dr. Wright, I advise you to prepare thoroughly. The clans will test your commitment severely. After the diplomatic team left, Anna knew she had bought time but not safety. More people would come. More questions would be asked. And eventually someone would try to take Ember away by force. That night, Anna made a decision. She could not stay on Ashmar waiting for the next confrontation. They needed to leave, to find somewhere safe while she figured out how to navigate the complex politics of the situation. She began packing essential supplies, moving quickly and efficiently. Ember watched with growing anxiety, picking up on Anna's urgency. We're going on a trip, little one, Anna explained gently. Somewhere safer where we can think clearly. As she worked, another message arrived. This one was not from the Preservation Council. It was from the remnant Drazen clans, and the tone was much less diplomatic. They demanded immediate surrender of the juvenile. They questioned Anna's right to even be in contact with a Drazen. They threatened legal action and worse. Anna deleted the message and continued packing. They left Ashmar before dawn, Anna's small ship rising silently into the dark sky. Ember sat in the co-pilot seat, watching their world fall away below. The Dragonling looked worried but trusting, secure in the knowledge that Anna would keep them safe. Anna hoped that trust was not misplaced. She had just made herself and Ember into fugitives, but staying would have meant losing each other, and that was not acceptable. She set course for the Outer Rim territories, places where records were less thorough and questions were asked less frequently. They would keep moving, stay ahead of anyone pursuing them until Anna could find a permanent solution. Ember made a soft, questioning sound. Anna reached over and squeezed the Dragonling's clawed foot gently. I know this is scary, she said, but I promise we're going to be okay. I won't let anyone separate us. Ember's scales warmed under Anna's touch, and that familiar purr started up. The sound of complete trust and love. Anna felt the weight of responsibility settle heavier on her shoulders. She had made promises to this young being who had already lost so much. Now she had to keep those promises no matter what the cost. The ship jumped to faster than light speed, leaving Ashmar and its complications behind. Ahead lay uncertainty and danger, but they faced it together, a human and a Dragonling who had found family in the most unlikely way. And Anna would fight the entire galaxy, if that was what it took to protect that family. Space stations in the Outer Rim asked fewer questions than those in controlled territories. Anna learned to navigate this new reality quickly, moving from one port to another, trading work for supplies and staying just ahead of the search patterns she knew were tracking them. Ember grew stronger with each passing week. The Dragonling was nearly full size now, able to fly properly instead of just gliding. Those wings could carry them both when necessary, something that had saved them more than once when they needed to leave somewhere in a hurry. They were at a fueling station called Drift Point when Anna heard the rumors. People were looking for a human and a Drazen. Good money being offered for information. The Preservation Council wanted them found. The remnant clans wanted them found. Even bounty hunters were taking interest. Anna finished the fuel transaction quickly and headed back to her ship. Ember was waiting in the cargo bay, practicing precise flame control by melting patterns into scrap metal. The Dragonling had developed remarkable abilities, far beyond what the databases said was normal for their age. "Time to move again," Anna said quietly. Ember's head lifted, flames dying instantly. Those intelligent eyes understood without explanation. The Dragonling gathered their few possessions while Anna prepped the ship for departure. They were almost away when 3 figures blocked the landing bay exit. Not officials this time. Mercenaries, judging by the weapons and the cold look in their eyes. The leader stepped forward, a scarred alien with too many arms. "Dr. Wright, we've been hired to bring in the Drazen. Make this easy and no one gets hurt." Anna positioned herself between the mercenaries and Ember. "We're not going with you." The leader laughed. "You don't have a choice. We've disabled your ship's weapon systems. You're outnumbered and outgunned." What happened next happened fast. Ember moved around Anna with speed that surprised everyone. The Dragonling's wings spread wide, making them look much larger and more threatening. A deep growl rumbled from Ember's chest, nothing like the soft sounds Anna was used to hearing. The mercenaries raised their weapons. Anna's heart stopped. Then Ember released a controlled burst of flame that melted the weapons without touching their owners. The mercenaries stumbled back, shocked and terrified. Ember advanced, still growling, making it clear what would happen if they did not leave. They ran. Anna stood frozen, processing what she had just witnessed. Ember had defended them, had used force to protect their family. But the Dragonling had been careful, controlled, choosing to scare rather than harm. Ember turned back to Anna, all the aggression vanishing instantly. The Dragonling made a worried sound, checking to make sure Anna was unharmed. Anna pulled Ember into a tight hug, wings and all. "You were amazing. Terrifying, but amazing." They got off Drift Point fast, but word spread faster. The human and her Dragonling had stood up to armed mercenaries and won. More people took notice. Some were threats, but others were curious, even admiring. At the next station, an elderly trader approached Anna while she was buying supplies. The trader was human, wearing the patched clothes of someone who had been traveling the rim for decades. "I heard about what happened at Drift Point," the trader said. "That took courage, standing up for your child like that." Anna was taken aback by the casual acceptance in the trader's voice. "Most people think I'm crazy for bonding with a Drazen." The trader smiled. "Most people don't understand humans very well. We're not like other species. We've got this strange ability to love just about anything that needs loving. It's our gift and our curse." The words stayed with Anna long after the conversation ended. A gift and a curse. She had never thought of humanity that way before. More weeks passed. More stations. More close calls. More moments where Anna and Ember had to trust each other completely to survive. And through it all, Ember watched humans. Studied them. Saw the way they helped strangers without expecting reward. The way they formed connections across species lines. The way they seemed to carry empathy like a default setting instead of something that required effort. At one station, Ember watched Anna spend an hour helping a distressed alien child find their parent. At another, they saw a human mechanic refuse payment from a refugee family. Small acts, but they accumulated into a pattern that fascinated Ember. One night, camped on the surface of a small moon while their ship underwent repairs, Ember tried to articulate what they had observed. The translation matrix had improved, and now they could have simple conversations. "Humans different," Ember said carefully, still learning the language. "Other species, they help own kind. Humans help everyone." Anna considered that while watching stars wheel overhead. "I guess we do. It gets us in trouble sometimes. People think we're naive or foolish." "Not foolish," Ember insisted. "Special. You saw me dying and helped even though I was not human. Not asking for anything back. Just helping because helping was right. Anyone would have done the same." "No." Ember's voice was firm. "I watched others pass. Many others. They saw me but did not stop. Only you stopped. Only humans stop. Anna felt tears building but blinked them back. You deserved help, Ember. You deserved to be loved. All beings deserve love, Ember said softly. But only humans seem to know this in their hearts. Before Anna could respond, their ship's proximity alarm sounded. Something large was approaching. Anna scrambled to her feet, ready to run once again. But the ship that landed nearby was not a threat. It bore markings Anna recognized from her research. Remnant Dragonling vessels. They had been found. Ember moved close to Anna, ready to fight or flee as needed. But the figure that emerged from the Drazen ship moved slowly, deliberately non-threatening. An ancient Drazen, scales weathered and scarred by long years. They approached with measured respect. I am Thornscale, the elder Drazen said in perfect galactic common. I lead what remains of the northern clans. I have been searching for you, Dr. Wright, but not for the reasons you fear. Anna kept one hand on Ember, ready to run. Then why? Thornscale's eyes, wise and ancient, moved between Anna and Ember, took in the obvious bond, the protective stance, the genuine family dynamic. Because I needed to see if the old prophecy was true, Thornscale said quietly. Our ancestors spoke of a species that would come from distant stars, beings who could bond with any life, who carried love as their greatest strength. We thought it was myth, but watching you and young Ember, I believe the prophecy spoke of humans. Anna stared. I'm just someone who helped a child in need. Exactly, Thornscale said. You did not help because Ember was Drazen or because you wanted something in return. You helped because you saw suffering and your heart could not allow it to continue. That capacity, Dr. Wright, is rare in the galaxy, precious beyond measure. Ember moved forward slightly, meeting Thornscale's gaze. The elder and the young Drazen communicated in ways Anna could not follow, a combination of sound and empathic pulses. Finally, Ember turned back to Anna and spoke clearly. Thornscale acknowledges you as true mother, recognizes our bond as real, will help protect us. Anna felt something loosen in her chest, tension she had carried for months finally releasing. The gathering spire floated in neutral space, a massive station where representatives from hundreds of species met to discuss matters of galactic importance. Anna had never expected to find herself here, standing before the Galactic Council with Ember at her side. But Thornscale had arranged it. After months of running, of hiding, of constantly looking over their shoulders, they finally had a chance to settle things permanently. The council would hear their case and make a ruling that would be binding across all member territories. Anna wore her best clothes, which were not very impressive after months of living out of a small ship. Ember looked magnificent, though, scales polished and gleaming, wings held with natural dignity. The Dragonling had grown into a striking young adult, and more than one council member stared with obvious surprise. The hearing room was enormous, with viewing galleries packed with observers. Anna recognized representatives from the Preservation Council, looking stern and official. Drazen from the remnant clans, their expressions unreadable, and others, so many others, all curious about the human and the Dragonling who had defied conventional wisdom. Council Chair Meridian called the session to order. The chair was an ancient being whose species Anna did not recognize, with skin that shifted colors as they spoke. We are here to determine the custody and care arrangements for the Drazen juvenile known as Ember. Dr. Anna Wright has claimed Bond Wright as parent. The Preservation Council contests this claim, arguing that proper Drazen care requires species-specific expertise. Let us hear from both parties. The Preservation Council's representative went first, presenting their case with practiced efficiency. They showed data about Drazen biology, their complex needs, the traditional family structures. They argued that while Anna's care had been adequate, Ember deserved to be raised among their own kind, to learn their culture and heritage properly. It all sounded very reasonable. Anna felt her confidence wavering. Then it was her turn. She stood, aware of thousands of eyes watching. Ember pressed close, offering silent support. Anna spoke from the heart. She told them about finding Ember dying on Ashmar, about the weeks of careful nursing and the gradual bond that had formed. She showed her documentation, all the evidence of Ember's remarkable recovery and development. She explained the biological impossibility of human Drazen bonding and how it had happened anyway. I'm not Drazen, Anna said clearly. I can't teach Ember everything about their heritage and culture, but I can love them completely and without reservation. I can protect them, support them, guide them as they grow. I can be the parent they need, even if I'm not the parent anyone expected. Council member Reed from the Preservation Council stood to respond. Dr. Wright, your dedication is admirable. But can you truly claim that your emotional attachment is what's best for Ember? Would they not benefit more from being raised by their own species, learning their own ways? Before Anna could answer, Ember moved forward. The Dragonling had been quiet until now, but clearly had reached the limit of patience with being talked about like they were not present. Ember's voice rang out in clear galactic common, startling many in the gallery. I am Ember. I speak for myself. The entire chamber went silent. Young Drazen rarely spoke in council sessions, and certainly not with such confidence and clarity. Ember continued, words measured and deliberate. I was dying when Anna Wright found me. Not just body dying, but spirit dying. I had no hope left, no reason to continue. Anna gave me both. She gave me love without asking who I was or what species I belonged to. She simply saw that I needed help and provided it. The Dragonling scales shifted color with emotion, a display that Drazen used for emphasis. You speak of what is best for me as if I have no voice in this choice. I choose Anna Wright as my mother. She is my family. To separate us would be cruel, and it would damage me in ways that all your proper Drazen care could never heal. Ember turned to face the full council. I have learned much traveling with Anna. I have seen humans help strangers, show kindness to those different from themselves, risk their safety for those who need protection. These are not common traits in the galaxy. They are special, precious. Anna represents the best of what humanity offers, and I am honored to be her family. The silence that followed Ember's speech was profound. Anna saw several council members clearly moved by the words. Even Reed looked thoughtful instead of combative. Then Thornscale stood, ancient and commanding. I speak for the remnant Drazen clans. We have observed Anna Wright and Ember for many weeks. We have seen the genuine bond between them, the care and love that flows both ways. By our oldest laws, family is defined by bond, not by blood. We recognize Anna Wright as Ember's true parent, and will support them against any who challenge this. More voices joined in. Representatives from other species, many of them humans, stood to share their own stories. Tales of cross-species adoptions, of families built through choice rather than biology, of love transcending the boundaries that separated peoples. A human woman named Rachel told of adopting an alien child whose species was nothing like humans. A trader named Omar described his mixed-species crew who functioned as a family unit. Story after story, each one demonstrating that what Anna and Ember had was not unique to them, but part of a larger pattern of human behavior. Council Chair Meridian listened to it all, color-shifting skin moving through the full spectrum. Finally, they raised a hand for silence. It is clear that this case touches on something deeper than simple custody arrangements. We are being asked to recognize that family bonds can form across species lines, that love and care are not limited by biology. This is difficult for many species to accept, yet the evidence before us is compelling. The chair paused, then continued. The council rules in favor of Dr. Anna Wright. She is recognized as Ember's legal parent with all rights and responsibilities that entails. Furthermore, this case establishes precedent. Bond right shall be recognized across species when genuine family connections can be demonstrated. The gallery erupted in noise, some cheering, some protesting. Anna heard none of it. She pulled Ember into a tight embrace, both of them shaking with relief and joy. We did it, Anna whispered. You're mine and I'm yours, officially and legally. Ember's purr rumbled through them both, louder and happier than Anna had ever heard it. The weeks that followed were a blur of paperwork and arrangements. Thornscale helped them find a home on a peaceful world called Haven, a planet that welcomed mixed populations and asked few questions about unconventional families. The house was small, but perfect, with space for Anna's research equipment and plenty of room for Ember to fly. They settled in quickly, establishing routines and rhythms that felt like home. Other humans in the area reached out, many with their own adopted alien children or cross-species families. Anna and Ember found themselves part of a community that understood what they had built together. On their first evening in the new house, Anna sat on the porch watching the sun set. Ember landed beside her, having spent the afternoon exploring the area from above. Happy? Anna asked. Ember settled close, wings folded contentedly. Home? The Dragonling said simply. Safe. Loved. This is what I waited for in the darkness on Ashmar. This is what I hoped for without believing it was possible. Anna wrapped an arm around Ember, feeling the warmth of scales and the steady rhythm of that rumbling purr. We found each other, little one. Against all odds and conventional wisdom, we found each other. They sat together as stars began appearing in the darkening sky. Two beings from different worlds, different species, different biologies, yet family in all the ways that mattered. In the distance, Anna could see other houses lighting up as families settled in for the night. Human families, alien families, and dozens of mixed families like theirs. Haven was well named, a place where love could flourish without judgment or restriction. Ember pointed at the sky with one wing. Earth is out there somewhere. Your first home? Yes, Anna confirmed. Maybe someday we'll visit and I'll show you where I came from. And I will show you Ashmar again, Ember said. Not as a place of death, but as the place where we found each other. Anna smiled. I like that idea. They sat in comfortable silence until full darkness fell. Then together they went inside, to the home they had built through courage and love and an unwavering commitment to each other. The galaxy was vast and often harsh, but there were places in it where family could take root and grow, regardless of species or circumstance. Places where a human mother and her Dragonling child could live in peace, bound together by the simple truth that love recognized no boundaries. And that was exactly what they had found.